The following program deals with a controversial subject. The theories expressed are not the only possible interpretation. Viewers are invited to make a judgment based on all available information.
This is your captain speaking. We are beginning our descent into madness.
Open your mind.
And we're back to another edition of West of the Rockies. I'm Frank. Thank you guys for sticking around. I know it's late, but we got a really exciting show lined up for everyone tonight. It's going to be a quick one. Tonight, we have a guest by the name of Valerie Heath. And she is head of this really cool organization called Heaven and Earth Oasis, which provides holistic therapy treatments to veterans with PTSD. And we're going to be talking about that with Valerie and a whole lot more. So I'm just going to throw it to Genevieve to introduce our guest for the evening. Genevieve, if you would.
As mentioned, tonight we're talking to Valerie Heath, president and founder of Heaven and Earth Oasis. For 20 years now, Valerie has worked with military groups such as Veterans Assistance Network as a sales consultant for computer products and phone equipment. During this time, she became aware that military veterans need the most help to heal physically and emotionally, and thus she was gripped by a determination to do something meaningful for them. With a background and experience using holistic, non-invasive techniques to heal illness, she founded Heaven and Earth Oasis. The organization is dedicated to healing military personnel by applying an array of established alternative and complementary methods of treatment that work. Many of the methods that are employed, such as reiki, are now successfully incorporated by military organizations to heal war veterans diagnosed with combat-related illness such as post-traumatic stress disorder. Valerie was diagnosed with a slow-growing pituitary tumor in 2005. Doctors offered her two options: try to shrink it with medicine or undergo a dangerous operation. Medications did not shrink the tumor, so she researched the best brain surgeons in the country and chose one in Los Angeles. The surgery was successful, but not without complications. Her lungs collapsed, and similar to symptoms of pneumonia, breathing became very difficult. Valerie searched and found a professional who could clear the energy in her solar plexus to help her breathe comfortably. He was a Reiki master in Ojai, California, who also trained her to use Reiki on herself with excellent results. The inflammation in her solar plexus subsided, then disappeared. She was once again breathing normally, and now her lungs are clear. After undergoing this physical transformation, in 2006, Valerie became a certified Reiki master herself. She has since become an energy healer trained and certified in several other therapies. And with that, I have the absolute pleasure of welcoming Valerie Heath onto West of the Rockies.
Valerie, thank you so much for joining us tonight to talk about something that a lot of people suffer. We're a country where we have a lot of veterans that have come back from war, and the scars run deeper than just merely on their bodies. But before we get into that, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you found yourself involved in holistic treatments for veterans?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on your show and having the interest in the veterans and exploring all the things that we have to offer. I really appreciate it. I worked with the veterans for over 20 years selling computer products and phone equipment. And one of the things that I realized when I was talking to most of the veterans on the phone who were ordering equipment and things was that they were their husbands were coming back, kind of depressed, not feeling well, had headaches, weren't doing very well day to day. And I kept hearing this over and over and over again. And I wondered what was going on at the VA that they didn't seem to be addressing this issue that was coming up. And most of the VA have been giving the vets serious drugs to combat their post-traumatic stress, which really hasn't done a lot of work in the direction that they needed to go. And as I saw this continually happening, I felt, what? I've always wanted to open a healing center, and I started a long time ago working with animals. I had an exotic bird store in New York City, and I saw the ability that animals had to heal people. And I took that forward, that background with animals, into current reality today, and studied my own holistic healing, which I really did for my own health issues. And after I saw how powerful Reiki was in Theta healing and counseling, that's when it motivated me even more to do the healing center.
Tell us a little bit about your medical issues, because I mean, you fought a very serious battle of your own in that regard. Tell us a little bit about that and how, some of these treatments helped you personally get better.
Well, 20 years ago, I was diagnosed with prolactinoma, which is a tumor in the pituitary. And what that does is it grows very slowly. It's non-cancerous. But eventually you need to either have it removed or hope that it shrinks on its own. And I actually had this tumor since I was in my 30s, and when I moved out to California, it started to grow. I started to get headaches and things of that nature. When I had the surgery, I knew I was going to come through the surgery with no problem. It's actually a very simple surgery if you have the right doctor doing the right technique on you, which I fortunately had found the best one here in Los Angeles. But after the surgery, my lungs collapsed because the breathing tube was taken out too quickly. And when that happens, all the fluid in your head rushes down into your lungs. And you have almost like a pneumonia. What was a simple surgery ended up being much more complex, and I ended up in, emergency care for close to a week. And at that time, I had gone over to the other side and come back.
Wow.
So, realizing that life was very different after that. I got a lot of messages coming in, and at that point I decided I'm giving up my computer business to go into holistic healing full time. And that was the only thing that was important to me, and still is and will be for the rest of my life. When I started healing I went to a shamanic healer to learn Reiki. And as I saw how I was using the Reiki in my own body to clear my energy field and my lungs and clear out all the fluid in my body, I said, wow, this is pretty incredible. This could work for a lot of people. I would like to teach them to do this on themselves. And that's how I got into, working with all the different energies and helping other people.
And when did you start the Heaven and Earth Oasis? When was it founded, and what are some of the treatments that you guys offer for veterans?
We've been open for 4 years. We have a satellite office by Hollywood and one in Santa Monica. And basically, we are providing Reiki, Theta healing. I work with the infrared biomat. We do cranial sacral and quite a bit of counseling with the vets. And we have a lot of people that have volunteered their services to help with our organization. So pretty much anything that a vet would need, whether it was hypnosis or acupuncture or, cleansing, colon therapy, I can contract out with anyone here to do the work for them. And that's one of the benefits of Heaven and Earth Oasis. Ideally, we want to build a large center and have all the holistic healing modalities under one roof, where the veterans can just come and spend the day and have whatever treatments that they want for free.
That sounds like a really ambitious project, and definitely something that I think a lot of people will benefit from. Speaking about that, do you find that there's a particular treatment that seems more beneficial for veterans, or are all the treatments, they all stand the same amount of chance of success with people?
Well, each veteran is different. Each one that has post-traumatic stress has a different issue. Some of them cannot relax. Some of them cannot sleep. Some of them have headaches. So depending on what is going on with their field, we would recommend different therapies accordingly. I happen to like Reiki, and I also like the infrared biomat because that helps them relax and also get back into a positive frame of mind within their physical field. So those would be my first two choices. If they have back issues or anything like that, craniosacral is great because that aligns the spine and also takes pain out of the body, as does the infrared biomat.
And tell me a little bit about the infrared biomap, because that sounds really, really interesting. I was reading a little bit about it, but why don't you tell us more about that?
Yeah, the infrared biomat is a great device. It shoots far infrared rays through your body. You basically lie on the table, and the heat can be adjusted accordingly to the client's needs. So you could, for instance, if somebody had cancer, I would want to put that heat up very high because cancer cells cannot live in a really high heat. If somebody just needs to relax, you don't need to have it on such a high heat, and you can keep it lower. But if you imagine an infrared sauna without the discomfort of sitting and sweating, you're laying down, and it's not that you don't sweat, but it's a more relaxing kind of treatment with the far infrared. And also, it tends to relax the body so much because the muscles relax that actually the client usually falls asleep on the table.
What has the reception been of using these treatments with, say, the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs? Are they generally supportive of this? Do they encourage the vets to go out and try some of these treatments?
Well, I think that they wanted to originally have me come in and give them a lesson on how to do this. Mm-hmm. But I felt that, I really don't want to do treatments over there. I want to control my own environment and do it in my space. And I think they would like to do it on a bigger scale, but unfortunately, there's such a demand over there for them to practice conventional medicine that the unconventional is still not being totally accepted over there. Right. And Reiki, although it's gotten a lot of articles written up and is used currently in hospitals throughout the United States, they're really not quite sure how it works. So my feeling is just tell me how you feel, and that explains to me how you are.
Right.
That's really the bottom line.
I see. And speaking of treatments that, granted, like you've said, they're not sure how some of these work, but it seems that at least one treatment that they're okay with is acupuncture. And I know there hasn't been a lot of studies done on acupuncture, and I think most of the evidence seems to point to one specific study that was done, but it seems like they do get behind acupuncture. Why do you think that is, and how does acupuncture work? I'm sure we're all familiar that it's a bunch of needles being placed on someone's body, but how does that help, and how would that help somebody that's suffering from PTSD?
Acupuncture moves the energy in the body very quickly, and it works on your chi energy, very similar to what Reiki does. It moves the chi in the body very, very carefully, and that's your life force energy. And I love acupuncture myself. I have studied esoteric acupuncture with Dr. Sankey here in Los Angeles. And the esoteric acupuncture works with needles or without. So what I can actually do is take an acupuncture grid and put it over somebody's body and illuminate the field so you actually have esoteric acupuncture. It would be like you were having acupuncture, but without the needles.
That's really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Basically, all we're doing is moving the energy in the body and shifting the consciousness to your own divine healing. Okay? So you're going back to the point in time where you were 100% perfect in your health. That's all we're doing. Okay. So remembering on a cellular level in your body.
Let me ask you this. How receptive have veterans been of this treatment?
Oh, they love it. And I haven't had a veteran that's come here that hasn't felt better. I've had some that, were just not in a good place at all. They couldn't even drive down the street without having aggravation from the traffic or people, or, we bring them into an anger state. And, through hypnosis or any of the other healing modalities, all of a sudden they've come through to the other side. They want to help people. They want to help other vets to work through this and come out to the other side of perfect health.
do you often see veterans that come along and are very doubtful of the experience, but then have a turnaround once they've actually undergone the treatment?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And, the hardest thing is getting the veterans here, believe it or not, because if they're too far away, they don't want to travel. Whether it's because they have to drive or they have to, deal with other people driving them. That's the hardest thing. So the more centrally located we are, the better it is for the veterans, because we want to make, and eventually I think what we'll do is even provide a pickup and delivery service for them so that they don't even have to think of that.
Yeah,
that would be the ideal situation.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. And tell us about this plan to have a place where you can provide all these services so conveniently. How is that process going? What are some of the things that you guys still need to make that happen?
Well, we need a lot of money to make that happen. And if we're going to buy our own building, it would be ideal. So we need the big corporations and grants to come in for the healing center. It's the most important thing. That's why every year we do a fundraiser. We did get a grant this year from SoCal Gas Company. Again, we will work with them throughout the years to bring awareness and help us help the community. But we need large grants to do the kind of work that we want to do.
And do you find that people are pretty interested in a project like this when you approach them?
Oh, absolutely. It's just getting it out there. That's the most important thing.
Of course.
The more that people are aware that this is available to them and that we could create a space like this and envision a space like this, they're very interested. Everybody loves this idea.
That's great. And let me ask you one question that popped into my head because, here in the U.S., we find a lot of controversy when it comes to big pharmaceutical companies and things of that nature. And, a lot of people believe that there's some interest there in conflict a lot of times between the people who need medical assistance and some of these big companies. You guys are dealing with holistic and alternative treatments. Have you found any or experienced any kind of blowback from, some of the more conventional?
Fortunately, they're not bothering us yet. I mean, maybe when we have a healing center, it's large, they might.
Okay.
But I promote, the other thing I do promote is, Stem Cells of America that, promotes fetal stem cells. That's one of the best treatments for, pretty much anything that goes on in the body. And of course that's not legal here in the United States yet, but legal over the border in Mexico. And, eventually my hope is to get that legal here. So maybe the pharmaceutical companies won't like that too much, but I'm not doing battle with them. I'm enhancing what should be available to every person on the planet. That's what I feel is important. Let everybody work together. If, they want to take, chemo and radiation for their cancer treatments, God bless them. I mean, my, sister-in-law had stage 4 cancer and went that route, and she's cancer-free today. Wow. Everybody's different.
Of course.
It's about having all of these modalities available so that people can make choices. That's what I feel is the most important.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm glad you put it in that way because that is absolutely what it's about. We had the pleasure of interviewing William Rader a few weeks back, and we had a really fascinating conversation about some of this type of situation that we have.
Well, he'll be at my fundraiser, so.
Oh, really? Very cool.
I hope you guys will come and interview him there. He'll be honored.
Oh no, yeah, we would
love to.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, could you just briefly tell us a bit about this fundraiser? It sounds super interesting. A lot of hands-on work being done and, informative
Yes, it'll be a great one. We're having the fundraiser at the Lowe's Hollywood Hotel up on Highland here in Los Angeles. There'll be red carpet and silent auction and raffle and holistic healers there actually able to do treatments on the vets for free. And also you can have some treatments also if you come. There'll be also holistic vendors there that have the latest and greatest products, anything from chocolate to facial creams to, pretty much anything that you can imagine. So it should be a lot of fun. We're having a wonderful luncheon there. Sunny Day is coming from Agape. She'll be singing. There'll be music. And Daniel Gutierrez will be there. He is a best-selling author and global speaker, spiritual teacher, life coach. He takes people to Peru and India for trips. And he's building a healing center in Peru.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So, it should be a wonderful, this is our 4th annual fundraising luncheon, and it should be very exciting.
It sounds exciting. It sounds like everybody's going to be having a great time.
And where can the public go and get information about that and maybe buy tickets?
Yeah, you can go on my website, heavenandearthoasis.org, and you can buy tickets on there. Or if you want, you can send in a check also, and the address and everything is on there to do that. It's very easy to order tickets because you just have to go down on the front page to the bottom. And any information that they need is all on there, plus as well as the video from last year's event, so you can kind of get a feel of the environment.
Last question for folks that maybe are not in the LA area, but they still want to help out, spread the word. What can they do to get involved and get this message out?
Well, the best thing would be to, if they can't come to the event, the best thing that they could do would be buy a table for the veterans, because the veterans come for free, so that's very costly for me. And the more that they can, provide that for the vets, the easier it is for me on this type of an event. So we're welcome to receive any kind of donations for the event, and also any publicity that people want to do for us, as well as any large donations from big companies.
Thank you so much, Valerie, for taking the time and speaking to us about this. It sounds like an amazing cause, and we thank the men and women that put their lives on the line to protect us and our freedoms here. And, the least we can do is definitely when they come home that they have, as you said earlier, not just one option, but several options to help them rebuild their lives after such a traumatic event as warfare is.
Exactly. And that's what we hope to continue to create going forward. And thank you so much for doing the inquiry and finding out about what we're about.
Oh, no, it's our pleasure. It's our pleasure.
So much.
Thank you so much, Valerie. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. See you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
And that was our guest, Valerie Heath from Heaven and Earth Oasis. Definitely check out the website, heavenandearthoasis.org, to spell all that out. And don't forget to check out the 4th annual fundraising luncheon for the Heaven and Earth Oasis. They're going to be raising some funds to have a place to provide these services to our vets. And it's a really cool cause. Check out the website, heavenandearthoasis.org, to see how you can help out and be part of this. It's a really cool project. That being said, take care, be safe, God bless. Don't do anything too crazy. We want to see you back next week. Till then, have a great night.
West of the Rockies with Frank the Engineer on the Independent FM, Los Angeles.